Poonam Kaur. Welcome to Nature of Reality Radio. Not to be confused with the Poonam Kaur, who's a very popular Bollywood actress in India. This is the Poonam Kaur, the Ayurveda for health. One who I met at Empowered Light Holistic Expo. Don't remember if I saw your presentation, but I know you were there. I contacted everybody who was there, and great to have you on my program. And a couple disclaimers I need to get out for a lot of listeners who have heard
Sure.
this already. Um, and for those that haven't, I'm probably going to say this one more show after this one, which will be this Friday. But I want to point out that first of all, my show has did get a message in the not too distant past saying my channel has a lot of spam on it, so they're going to review my channel. It hasn't got kicked off YouTube yet, and I hope it doesn't. Everybody have me in your prayers and your hearts to make sure I don't get kicked off YouTube. If I do, the show will still continue, and I will still keep talking about things that the system of domination and control does not want people to hear. So we'll find another medium if that be the case, but hopefully it doesn't. And also, all those listeners who have been listening to my show for the past 2.5 years through headphones will know that because I was on speakerphone, I had my voice in one earbud and my guest voice in the other. If that's what you would have heard if you had been on speaker, on using headphones to listen to my program all that time. That's just what it was. That was the problem. I had the Skype recorder on stereo and I didn't change it. So I changed that now, so that will not be an issue if anybody is going to be listening to any of those shows that I've done over the past 2.5 years, aside from the about half a dozen or so that I've done since I've started giving this disclaimer out. I recommend not listening with headphones so you don't have to deal with that. But if you do, just know you're going to deal with my voice in one earbud and my guest voice in the other. It's annoying, but the important thing is the information is still getting out. So that's all I wanted to get out. And so, without further ado, I guess Poonam Kaur, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Your
Yes, you
specialty,
are.
okay, is Ayurveda for health. I do have your website, circleoflifesoulcenter.com, up here, and I'll probably use that as a guide throughout the program. So you can tell us who you are, what did you experience that caused you to do the things that you do. I guess we'll make this a business plug too, so you can try to sell your products and all that. Make a sales pitch out of this. Nothing wrong with that. Throughout the course of this program, and then we'll go from there, talking mainly about the science behind how all the things that you do work, but maybe get into some of the detail about the specific services as well. So Poonam Kaur, you got the floor. Who are you? What did you experience? What happened in your life that caused you to do the stuff you do? You got the floor.
Um, Thank you so much, Andrew, for having me here. And thank you, listeners. First of all, I just want to um, thank you for getting me on your radio and all the good work that you do, bringing awareness to so many people. That's just wonderful. Thank you again. Um, yes, my name is Poonam Kaur, and who am I? Well, I would say I'm a medium, a spiritual counselor. I love teaching. I do a lot of guiding. Um, I'm a Ayurvedic practitioner, mostly working with nutrition and people coming with different kinds of illnesses, um, issues. I'm also a reflexologist. So energy work and all that. So that's really has got me so far to what I'm actually doing at this point of time. Um, Basically, when people come to me, I kind of help them move forward in the journey, and that's the the main reason I'm here is to hold the light. I just feel like I'm here as a conduit. And when people come to my center, when they're ready to heal, they really show up. And that's where the healing begins. And truly, it's my ability to see through and understand what the person is going through and help them guide through the process of unhooking maybe the traumas, the baggages, negative patterns in their lives, unhealthy choices that they make. And eventually, when they have the self realization of all this, they are able to heal themselves. So, technically we call ourselves healers, but truly, I feel we are just conduits between, the creator and them. And we help the easy transition for them to look at life from a different perspective so that they can live in a joyous way on this planet. Um, I actually came to America about 20 years ago with my ex-husband, and we came for a year, and then we ended up, staying here. Um, and well, I'm also a fashion designer by trade. I went to Fashion Institute New York, where I did my associate degree, and started working in the industry a little bit. And I had two beautiful girls, and I chose to take a back seat and let my husband, be the bread earner. But I guess things didn't work out the way it should be, and there was a lot of tension in the marriage because he had a different mindset, and we just started growing apart in different direction, and I could see myself really spiritually growing, and I was more geared towards my family and well-being of my kids, and being alone in this country, coming from a different culture, and so it wasn't that easy to adapt, but I learned everything, and but guess in 2012, I think there was a big awakening for me where I realized that this marriage was not, uh, the right thing for my two girls. And I took a step. I was just, I was guided. I just felt like awakening that I realized that abuse is not the answer to a good life. And um, even if I have to walk alone in my journey, I will do it. And I stood for that. And guess what happened? It's just like the universe has just opened up. Like I felt like there's like just amazing, uh, magical things started happening. There's all I wanted to do is serve humanity, serve the women. And I started my business, Poonam Design. Um, in my basement, I started a clothing line for women, yoga apparel, and my mission, I, I wanted women in India to benefit, so I started this company, trying to employ women who go through abuse, or women in red light area that they don't know anything beyond selling their body, and I wanted them to realize that there's empowerment, there is life beyond the slavery of their own body. And so um, I'm glad I took that step, and that led me to this whole path of healing and love for humanity. And before I knew, you know, I had this little, I had my divorce and things like that. And then I have my boutique in Malvern area. And everybody saw what I was doing, trying to help women. And I had fashion show for domestic violence centers here. In conjunction to that, this whole circle of life soul center came into being, you know, um, and started getting attuned with energies, and I would just channel information to people, and they would ask me, "How do you know it?" I said, "Don't ask me." So it's amazing how when you serve with your divine purpose, when you stand for what you believe in, when you walk with that faith, uh, you can move mountains. I was all alone trying to go through my divorce. I didn't have any help, but I had my beautiful clients who were praying for me, and it just gave me more and more strength that the day I honor, love, and respect me is when the universe comes together for me, and the whole universe is within me, where I don't have to go outside of me to find that peace, that abundance, that clarity, you know, and wisdom. So from that time onwards, I never looked back, and I took every day like I'm walking in this tunnel, and it may be dark, but there are lights coming through these holes, and I kept looking in positive way, and my guides and angels, and they kept placing the right situations and experiences, and before I knew, you know I have this beautiful healing centers, and thousands of people come here and transform every day. So when I sleep with this blessing and bliss and just love that um, I could be of help and service to someone today. Um, yeah, and that's my story.
Very,
um,
very lovely, lovely story indeed. And boy, you cover a lot of things here, and I guess we'll go into each one bit by bit. The science, important, but also how specifically you guys do it at the in the place that you do at the Circle of Life Healing Center and all. So, well, first of all, for those that aren't familiar with the term Ayurveda, it says here on your bio here that I'm reading off the empoweredlight.com site. Um, Learn about Ayurveda, the oldest healthcare system that exists today. It is the natural and holistic way of approaching disease prevention and maintaining a balanced lifestyle. Okay, could you please elaborate and expand on that in as much detail as possible? For all intents and purposes, I guess you might as well regurgitate everything that you gave in your presentation at the Empowered Light Expo. I'll keep my paper here handy to jot down any notes of anything that may come up. So why don't you regurgitate your presentation? I hope it's not a problem that you can't give any pictures here. Um, you got the floor.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I think it's time. It's time that we start taking uh, control of our lives, our food, our health, our well-being. It's time that we align to ourselves, know ourselves, and when we understand ourselves is when we start truly living our lives with our true purpose. So Ayurveda, is it comes from ancient Vedic times, and I grew up in India, and I've learned. I was always inspired. I did some. I was so much into it, and here I kind of worked more towards understanding and learning, being a practitioner. A lot of self-taught, a lot of studies I've done, um, and my ability to scan the body, to work with the spirit, it just enhances the work that I do. So truly, Ayurveda is 5,000 year old or more, ancient healthcare system that exists today. The seers and the sages, they were so far in advance of knowing our body, our mind, and spirit, and working with the elements all around us, that it actually holds true. And I guess with the whole new energies coming on the planet, we are resorting back to the holistic and natural way of living, lifestyle, food, medicine, yoga. So Ayur means, longevity, lifespan. Veda it means knowledge. So it's a science of living long and healthy lives. Um, Basically, it's a consciousness-based healthcare system. That means once you are aware of who you are, how you live your life, your lifestyle, what you eat, how you prepare your meals, how you have relationships with others around you. That means it is a relationship with everything external forces around you, because your body is changing every moment. What you were 2 hours back, you're not the same, because you have emotional, psychological, physical. There's so many different external forces that is shifting us all the time. But if we are not in alignment and we are not conscious of who we are and what our true goal is, then we get sucked up by those forces. And therefore, our health is altered, because you're made up of the same elements that is found in nature, that's found in the universe. So it's like microcosm and macrocosm. So all we are is made up of 5 elements, which is earth, water, fire, ether, and space. So all these elements are found in everything that's around us. Of course, the chemical composition, chemistry, everything is different for every product and life force here. So now it depends on what is the composition of our bodies, but everything is actually product of these 5 elements. And when our body is out of place, is in imbalance, is when all the diseases starts coming in, the anxiety, the stresses, everything. Your at the DNA level, it starts falling apart. Mutations in your body starts happening. Cancer takes form in our body. So it is basically, how would I say, how the Ayurveda defines our bodies is through the 3 doshas, which is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata is made up of space and air. Pitta is fire and water, and Kapha is water and earth. So when we are born, we have all the 3 doshas in us, but it is in different permutation and combination depending on your your genetics. It's the constitution of the body. You cannot see Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. You don't see this physically, but they are in form of these elements, and they work through the different organs, the different circulation system in our body, nervous system. But all these elements, there are 3 of them, which Vata, Pitta, and Kapha in different composition, and 2 of the dosha or the constitution is prominent in everyone. It could be vata or pitta or kapha. So we'll go a little more deeper into what these um, these constitutions are. Um, but they make us who we are. That means if a person is a kapha, who's made up of, kapha is water and earth. So what's the quality of earth and water? It's more moist. It's nurturing. All your body is made up of that earthy, you know, earth. Your muscles, the whole structure is is your kapha constitution. Um, so you can think of like an
Well,
elephant. Elephant has a predominant kapha energy. It's huge, and it's more loving. It's a calmer animal, more nurturing. So if a person has a predominant kapha, they have qualities like this. They're big built. Um, they are very loving, kind, um, and then other um, dosha, which could be pitta in them. Um, Pitta could be, pitta is basically fire and water. So what is fire? Fire is always helping with metabolism. Your um, circulation system, your digestion, everything is all done by fire and water that helps fire. So, and the third one is the vata, which is space and air. That could be the least amount of composition in that body. So, vata is again air and space, which is like
ah,
um, people who have predominant vata um, water type of people. They are thin, lanky. They're very, very, um, how would I say, agile. They like snake. You'll feel that energy of a snake. They are very, very, um, very creative. But then they'll have so many different plans, and then they'll forget something. They easily forget things, and um, so so every dosha or different composition has its
Thank you very much. And
character.
are you still there?
Are you there?
Yeah. Did you cut out, or did you were you still talking and I interrupted you? Because I didn't hear you for a moment.
Mhm.
Oh,
So now you can hear?
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, thank you for covering that, and I guess we'll go into some of the other things here that is in your, well, the bio that's been put up about you. Um, so, soul retrieval transformation. Now, when you say soul retrieval, you're okay. You're trying to retrieve and transform the soul. It seems. I'm a little confused about what exactly that's supposed to mean. Well, you're not the one that wrote this; someone else did. Um, but if you know exactly what they're referring to when they say soul retrieval transformation, what exactly is that? Does that entail? How does it work? And well, after you explain, we'll go from there.
Well, soul retrieval is something that is really popular at our center, and most of the people they come with a lot of maybe different trauma they've had in the past, anxiety, stress, different patterns in their lives that they're not being able to walk forward. People who are lost, they're like, they're star seeds, or they feel like they they have a purpose and they are lost, they will are the ones who I will you know give this kind of a session. And soul retrieval is when we go back into different timelines, and work toward unhooking the baggages or the trauma. um, I work with their guides, and we are able to, and their higher self, of course, and we are able to see things in the past, and bring it towards their attention of why it occurred. Why did this situation happen in their life? And why their own soul placed those lessons in their lives. We are able to analyze those guilt, shame, fear, traumas, um, and believe me, when they come for this session, they're totally different, and when they walk out, they are not the same person at all. It's such a beautiful shift that takes place where they're able to understand why things happen in their lives. We get clarity. Um, there could be people who have passed on in their lives that they come through. Um, you know, 98% of the people who I work with, they're able to forgive um, people that they resented all their lives. They have issues. They're able to shed those, cut those shackles actually, and they feel free. They start feeling freer. They're able to bring back that part of that soul that was lost, or um, they felt um, not being with them anymore. So it's just beautiful when this happens. As I said earlier, I'm just a conduit. We are able to integrate the higher self and the inner child and bring them into this alignment so that they're able to see and know who they are and know their purpose on this planet. And, I'm able to help them get clarity of um, what they wish to do and how. So I do a lot of spiritual counseling for them in these sessions, and it is. I feel it's like a miracle that happens, and many people ask me, how do you do it? But I just say I I'm just there, and I just feel like the vibrations that I hold, um, and the love that I had for the person. I don't even know what I channel, what I say. Um, I feel like they are healing themselves, on them, and giving them space so they can, um, go into their divine self, find the answers that they are searching for all this time, and they can come in the present now. Most of the people are either in the past, and they think that's normal. Whatever happened to them, they think that's their normal life. That's where they belong, but that's not the truth. Um, you know, this bubble that they are in is able to burst, and they're able to actually be present minded and not, even worried about the future. And that's my goal, is to bring them in the present now so they start functioning. It's really the true blueprint of their soul, and the best version of themselves. So when I see this happening, it's just, it brings me so much joy to see. It's like a rebirth for them. So yeah, Most of the people say, I wish I had come, 10 years ago. I didn't have to go through. And I say, dude, I think you were not meant to. Maybe this was your moment. You had to go through many different lessons in your life to be where you are. And, so instead of people always having a victim energy, why always me? Why? And most, about 70, 80% of the people have a lot of issues with their parents, I've seen over time. So, and they blame everyone, or sometimes they are so hard on themselves. So, I guess, God is giving me this responsibility to show that light, um, show that perspective to another fellow human, to live life with joy, with happiness, with being in this moment, because that's the most beautiful gift. People forget that they're always saying, I don't have this, I don't have that. I said, I think you have to be grateful for what you have today. And because there are hundreds of people that want your life. There are so many people want to be healthy like you. So, there are many different ways I counsel people. And truly, it's like working with the higher divine self and the inner child. And we're able to integrate that and align with the creator energy. So I work with a lot of 7-dimensional energy. And therefore, the shift takes place. And I really feel blessed every day in my life to hold this light for them.
I'm glad you do. I'm sure you do. And did you just say you work 7 dimension? Did I hear that right? Seven
Yes,
dimension. Yeah. Okay. What's the
seven
significance?
dimensional.
Now, I want to first of all, before I ask you to give your take on that, now that I find that significant, because Akashic Records reader Andrew Bartzis, who is my number one source of info on this show, I feel his Akashic reading skills are the best way to get an answer to a question, bar none, and he's a galactic historian. He actually said that Earth was originally created as a 7-dimensional seed planet, and the significance of the seventh dimension, from what I've heard other people say, is that it all has to do with service to self dominance. From the sixth dimension below, there is some degree, even in the sixth dimension, of service to self behavior, but by the entities that exist in that. But once you get to the seventh dimension, it is strictly service to others' behavior and intention. And so you can make the case that Earth was created as a 7-dimensional sea planet, was created for the purpose of helping entities learn how to transition from service to self to service to others. Does that make sense to you? And I would like you to, after you answer that, get into the significance behind why is it 7 dimensions for you? How does it perhaps tie into this stuff that I've just said?
Yes. I When I meditate, I've been mostly taken into the 7-dimension energy. I also do theta healing, where we work from unconditional love. We work with the creator energy. Um, and I feel when we truly, um, you know, are of service, as you said, 7 dimension is for others, to help other beings, other souls. When you do the selfless service, you automatically connect with that energy. Believe me or not, that really happens. Um, and I'm being taken into this theta state, this state of mind where we are able to connect with that consciousness, that oneness. Um, and we are able to bring in what we need to bring. So at times I used to wonder, how do people, they transform, they feel like a rebirth, they feel like I'm a new person. And gradually, I realized that when we um, are in this perfect um, divine self, when we are of service, we connect with that dimension. We're able to bring that healing and love and light, and miracles can happen. So, what you said is true, definitely. Um, as we know that we all are moving into the fifth dimensional energy, people are it's like two parallel worlds here, the fifth dimension and the third. People are waking up, and I feel like this bridge between the third and the fifth is so important. Um, and I'm seeing this uh, big shift, especially this year. So much shifts happening. This feeling of oneness and people waking up to their truth. It's like skeletons from the closet is out. They know who they are. So this is truly, you know, the galactic center. We are so close to the galactic center now. We are truly coming into our divine blueprint, our God consciousness, and and therefore, I would say we have the ability to work with the seven dimensions. Truly. Have you
Thank.
ever got? Have you ever had sessions with any holistic practitioner or
Oh yeah,
medium with?
yes, I
Okay.
have, but the thing you said about the seven dimensions that seemed kind of unique as far as holistic stuff goes. I didn't really know that there was a specific number of dimensions to put on it. In fact, people give different numbers for how many different dimensions there are all the time. I mean, it seems like interestingly, there's a two prominent camps of 12 dimension and 22 dimension. George Kavaslis, in my private session with him way back in the day, he said that he can understand how the people in the 22 dimension camp would see 10 layers in one of the layers that he sees as one, which explains why there is that view. But um, as far as the giving a number to it, it's always debatable. I mean, people say there's an infinite number of dimensions, but then again, what is a dimension? What's a realm? What's a timeline? It's a point of view issue in many regards, and to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, many of the truths we cling to depend heavily on our point of view. So, well, I've babbled long enough about that. Let's move on to another subject here. Chakra
Mhm.
healing and alignment. It's interesting you have this. Well, it makes sense you have this. But I received another chakra healing from Daniel Teague recently of Vegas Star Healings. Guy who got into a car accident and discovered he had great powers after he had a near-death experience from that car accident to, among other things, heal and balance out chakras and align them. And when I was at the event in California, the heart activation thing that I went to,
Mhm.
the when guy did a chakra reading on me, he noticed that my third eye chakra seemed to be the most pronounced, which is kind of strange because I try not to well, strange but not strange. I mean, I do a lot of sun gazing, which naturally is going to activate the third eye, but I myself am of the opinion that it makes sense to go with the heart rather than the third eye, as George Kavaslis always says, go with the heart. You can't do wrong. The third eye, well, it's fun and all, but the power, the control system, they want the control of your mind. The third eye is in the mind. If you keep your third eye open, not only are you making it easier for them to attack you if you're not careful, but also it's not the best way to go. The heart's the best way to go. So it was kind of surprising, but not surprising to hear that my third eye was seemed to be the most active of all the chakras at that moment. But and also the thing about George Kavaslis that I love to pick on whenever I talk about chakras, he always says it's best to forget about the chakra system. I mean, the chakra system, it's right and all, it's true, that's the way reality works. But he says you're only making things complicated for yourself if you go by that, because it was originally imposed it could go in conjunction with the fall of Atlantis. When Atlantis was falling, the chakra system was imposed as a way of not helping people realize their true infinite potential. He says it's best just dissolve all the chakras into one, and then one he dissolves it into is the heart soul essence. And I tell him, well, more power to you if you can always go with the heart and not get bored, but you're missing out on all the fun, not using all the other chakras. I mean, have a little variety. Variety is the spice of life. What's wrong with using other chakras, even if it is a suppression of consciousness, because it's not your true infinite potential, not dissolving it into one. Have some fun, have some creativity. That's my take on it. And not only that, there's been a lot of confusion about this. Um, at the recent event I was at, it was a heart activation. That was the intention of it. The guy who ran the event, he said, "We're at Mount Shasta, the heart chakra of Earth." No, sorry, man. Mount Shasta is the root chakra of Earth. For some reason, a lot of people think it's the heart chakra, but it's not. It's the root. And also, one more thing I'm going to say before I give you the chance to talk about chakra healing and alignment. The heart chakra here on the surface of Earth regarding what humanity does, and I did bring this up at the conference and made a few people uncomfortable, but a lot of people said, thank you for bringing it up, it's important. The financial system is our heart chakra, and that's not good because our financial system is fractional reserve banking. It's a heart attack waiting to happen because it makes debt and inflation unavoidable when you loan people money that doesn't exist and charge them interest on it. Debt and inflation becomes unavoidable like that because the interest factor, it makes it a Ponzi scheme. And there's more money. You can't use the money that's in existence to pay off everything because the amount that you owe is more than the amount of money that exists when you charge interest on loans. So I keep stressing on my shows a lot. We get this whole thing about getting an RV financial currency reset. We've got to try to get that in as quickly as possible so this isn't a problem anymore. And people like Andromeda Council contact Tolek have said maybe 10 to 15 year period he's been told by his contacts when humanity transitions from a money system into a system of no money at all. I really don't see how we can get that started until we implement the RV global currency backed system as the perfect starting point to that. Because we got to get out of fractional reserve banking. It's a heart attack waiting to happen if it is the heart chakra on Earth. So you find that funny, but then again, it's not funny. So I babbled enough. Maybe you can give your take on all that, and then not just the heart chakra, but the other chakras. What do you do to heal and balance and align them? And do you agree or disagree with George saying chakras are not important? Just go with the heart all the time.
I really don't agree with him. In fact, our Gaia, our Earth, it's a living being. It's all the different parts of the Earth. They have chakras. All different certain parts of the world is more predominant in different chakras, and that's how it works. So as our body has these energy fields or energy centers. Well, you cannot see with your physical eye that, oh, this is your third eye and this is your crown chakra and this is your heart chakra. But these are non-physical aspects of us, which are connected to our auric fields. And we have different bodies. We have emotional body, casual body. We have a physical body. So these are all different auric fields that we have. This is connected to eventually to the etheric. So every chakra is basically is connecting to your endocrine system. So whenever, for instance, your solar plex is that, that means solar plex is a center for making decisions. It's your gut. And I've seen people when they have big issues in their lives, that's the chakra which gets blocked. Any episodes or incidents that happen in their lives that is traumatic, and it can block that part. So every chakra has its functions, and it's connected to our physical body, our our mental body, our emotional body. And therefore, basically, the the life force should should flow through our crown into each and every chakra, that's feeding the life force into our each chakra, and it should able to flow continuously without any blockages. But if there is any blockage, for instance, somebody went through um, a bad relationship or death of someone, the heart is broken, like, a big stressor on the heart, and therefore, their heart chakra gets blocked. And that, once that is blocked, then the other chakras automatically, they start getting clogged, and therefore that affects their their different glands, their different organs in their body, and therefore you'll see they start having different issues and diseases coming in their bodies. So this is the Vedas, the Puranas, the Vedas, the ancient Indian texts. They showed all this, um, and how to work with these, um, the whole chakra system in order to heal our body. It's basically each chakra defines its work, um, and how it corresponds to how we how we react, how we live our lives, how we are able to balance our body. So it basically, these chakras kind of help us to balance our ourselves, our life force, you know, our our purpose on this planet, our interaction with other human beings, the choices that we make in our lives. So it's all dependent on how are we bringing clarity to this body, which is the temple of our soul. And when we are in this alignment with all these chakras flowing, and they should flow in clockwise direction, and they're flowing in the right way, you flow with bliss. Doesn't matter there's a storm, but you're connected with the source. You're connected with the creator, and you don't have fear. You don't function from fear. You don't function from lack. You don't function from, that I need others' approval to be who I am, or my happiness is outside of me. So when we read the Vedas and the ancient texts, uh, you know, they teach so much about our consciousness through these chakras, how we are able to bring ourselves into the spiritual aspect as a spiritual being, and how we, the true way of living your life with this spirituality and consciousness. So it's basically, again, the awareness of your consciousness. And when people come with issues in their life, I am not the person who will say, okay, lay here and I'm going to first examine your chakras, and this is clogged, you have to do this, you have to do sound healing, blah blah blah. No, we actually go into deeper. We say, for instance, um, people are for the root chakra is all about your survival, your existence on this planet, your job, your shelter, and everything. And we are able to see that person is always in fear of spending, a fear of anxiety of how they're going to live the next next month, on things like that. The issue of their own survival, all the time they're in fear. So we go deeper into where it actually happened. What happened? Maybe it could be age of 10 that something happened in their life with their parents or something, and how the lifestyle. Usually a lot of things come from how they were raised. So my guides and their guides kind of, show me where this actually happened, and we are able to, um, we are able to relive that in a positive way. We are able to see why things happened and how do we fix that? How do we understand? So I definitely, that's just not like, oh, I did this healing and this is all done. No, there are many deeper issues that were first I work with them, and then we do the alignments of the chakra. There are sounds that are attached to each chakras. There are colors that I work with. There are the different stones. We work with many different sound therapies, tuning forks. I have Tibetan bowls from Tibet. Um, so we raise the vibration. We're able to help them feel that, alignment with your own self is so important in order to function with happiness, with flow, um, so that's how we go about helping align these chakras, truly. These are just the consciousness, that's it. They are different consciousness. The third eye is your window to wisdom, to knowledge, to connection to the divine. Um, you know, and I say that everything you need is within you. And when we are able to honor ourselves, when we are able to see that we are part of the creator, and when you come into that understanding that if I don't, if I've not learned to be happy, how do you think I can share the happiness? So first, we have to actually experience all these feelings and live those moments in order to really share. And to people say, oh, I want to heal people, I want to do this and that. I'm like, you cannot do until you experience it yourself. So yeah, there's a lot that we have to understand about each client, where they're coming. We have to come into their platform to understand, and then take them into the vibration that they need to go into. So we are nothing but we are energy and frequency. Seriously, there's nothing else that we are made up of. So every moment, we are shifting, and it's how you like to um, see yourself, and that's how we are able to work with the universe to bring in the experiences that you desire. We are creators of our own experiences, of our own life. We are creators. So, once they understand, because I realize how easily we are swayed by different organized religions. People come with their, I had issues with this religious things, and I was made to believe this, blah blah blah, and they had so much grudges and things like that. So you know, the government, how the control of food, the control of our education, everything. It just puts us in fear, and we think that's who we are, but truly we are not. We are amazingly. I mean, I am an example of positivity. I've learned everything myself, and today hundreds of people are shifting because guess what? We have the ability to do anything on this planet, as long as and it's with love.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Oh,
can. I don't know what
okay.
happened.
Yeah, we got disconnected. It was probably a Mercury retrograde glitch. So, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. The first part, the interview that we just did, the first part, I saved it on my computer. We'll just have to. I'm gonna make sure that this part that's recording now. I just have to get it, save it as the second part of the interview, and make sure I connect it to the original. So let's continue. God, something about, I think the last word you mentioned was love, and then you got disconnected. So I don't remember how long were you talking before you realized that we were disconnected. I don't know. But
Oh my God.
yeah, well,
Okay.
whatever. So I guess we might as well change the subject. You probably talked about as much as you could. So let's move on to another thing. Theta healing and programming. All right. So what is it about theta that it makes it the significant Greek letter that is represented by some sort of a wave or the modality that you need to be in, and not alpha, beta, or any of the other ones? Why theta? What is it significant about theta regarding healing and programming?
Okay, so it's a state of our our mind. Theta is a state when you're about to sleep. You must have experienced when you're about to sleep and you're still not in deep sleep. So in that trance, that's the theta state that we experience. And in that state, actually, it's said that all the manifestation comes into the physical. That means all the foundation of our what we've learned or we desire, that actually takes place in that state. That's why we ask our clients to do meditation every day, because that puts us in the state of you know clearing, no, like your mind stops into that state where the subconscious takes place, and you start manifesting truly of what you desire and how you desire, and all the answers just starts coming through. So when a child from age of from the time born till the age of, and they are in the state of theta. Do you remember anything when before age of 7? How do you feel your memories are like?
Oh, I think they're pretty good. I've always had a photographic memory throughout my entire life, so I do remember things before age 7 more so than other people do. Um, well, that's
Hmm.
just me. So, but in general, I don't know if a lot of other people do.
Like,
Like
do
things.
you like a lot of vague memories? Do you have those vague memories, or stuff that you saw in your family? Um, you know, Parents, how they reacted to you and things like that. So
Yes.
what happens? That is the age. Up till the age of 7, the child is in the theta state, and whatever they are seeing is basically, it creates a foundation for them. That means if the mother, you know, doesn't hug the child and say, "All right, until you finish this job and do this," you know, um, she won't approve him or her. So to the person, until they do that job, they feel that's their understanding of love is, and this carries throughout their life, that, oh, if I don't fulfill this, I don't think I'll be accepted by this person. And this pattern becomes so prominent in their life. So and then they do not give importance to self love. Is like, and a lot of issues come in their lives, because that's how they understand the definition of love or anything else in their life. So what we do in theta healing is we are able to again connect with the creator energy in the 7th dimension, and we as practitioner are able to help change or bring in the affirmations and the patterns um, within the person to shift. So we work with the universe to bring in the change the person needs and let go at it could be at different levels, the historic, the genetic level, the soul level. So there are different levels in your lives that we work on those levels to remove the traumas or the patterns that don't work for them and bring in what they desire and how they want to live their lives. So that plays a very, very important role because guess what? We are able to bring in that imprint at the cellular level. And when a person comes into that consciousness of what they desire, is when the universe starts working with them, and they're able to create what they want on this planet in their lives. So it's basically in tuning with the creation of the universe. And when we align with that, we are able to create whatever on this planet. There were two Wright brothers, and they wanted to fly. They had the imagination of flying, and guess what? Thousands of millions of people fly around the globe. So it's nothing that we cannot create. And I think we were always put in darkness. We were always put in fear that we are not no good. And hundreds of people that come to me, they're always suffering from, grudges or fear or, disapproval of themselves and many other patterns in their lives is because how our society, our religious beliefs, our government, how we live our life today. Everything wants to control you. But truly, we should live with freedom because we are just infinite beings. And once we realize our potential, nothing can stop us. So my job here is to wake them up and say, we have to take control of our life. What's done is done. It's of the past. I want you to just wake up every day and be grateful and go out in the sun, walk on the grass, and see the beauty around you. Remember when you were a kid and all the happiness that happened in your life. I want you to reconnect with that inner child. And, whatever happened after that, as you were growing, they were part of your lessons that were put in your path for your evolution of your soul. So that realization is very important, that everybody's on their karmic track. You've come here as a soul to learn and grow into higher consciousness. Our true work, our true path is to be in our highest form so that we can reconnect with the source. What's the use of just coming here and just living your life when you don't have a purpose? When you cannot be your true divine self and the things that you've come here to learn on this planet. So it is so important that to bring that awareness of self-consciousness. And when you live with that life, so whether it's chakra work, whether it's Ayurveda, whether it's reflexology or any other healing modalities, what I feel is all promoting towards the alignment and awareness of you. When you have the awareness and you do not function from fear and grudges and all that lack, you're able to create the life that you desire. And believe me, there's no diseases that can ever come to you because you function from, true divine bliss. And you're connected with the Creator. There's nothing to be fearful of. So that's That's what I practice, and that's what I do every day for people.
And I'm glad you do it. And we need more people like you for sure. Um, so next on the list here, DNA activation. Now, when it comes to activating your DNA, it's said a lot of the what's called junk DNA should not be thought of as junk. It is very, very significant and important, and the fact that we've had a lot of it suppressed by the control system is the reason why we are not able to access our infinite love potential as easily as we could. I do take a supplement called DNA Force. Well, actually, there's a new improved supplement, DNA Force Plus, that's sold from Alex Jones and company at InfoWars. And I know people have a love-hate feeling of Alex Jones. I don't think his fear porn-loving attitude in any way hinders the great ability of his products that he sells. They all seem to get positive reviews. And the DNA Force one that I take, as soon as I use up what I have, I'll take the DNA Force Plus. But it's supposed to enhance the telomeres at the end of chromosomes so that they don't disintegrate and lose power and oomph over the course of time. So I would have to think that taking that, and it also improves my cell mitochondrial health, that in and of itself, if I keep taking that, should improve and keep my DNA up to full potential. I mean, when it comes to placebo effect, they say any pill that you take could do anything if you truly believe it. But if you use the proper ingredients, then if you know what's in the stuff and you expect it to do what it's supposed to do, then of course it's going to enhance the ability to do it. But other ways of doing DNA activation without taking a supplement. And also one other question that I have is a lot of the superhumans on Earth who have the ability to do superhuman things, whatever it may be, is the secret to their ability because they have DNA codons that are activated in them that other
Mhm.
people don't have, or is it not just the DNA but also the fact that some part of them has gotten closer to source, which allows for them to have more infinite love and infinite potential abilities more so than someone who doesn't have that close connection to source. Is it connection to source or DNA? That's what I want to know. What makes people that have what could be construed as a superhuman ability do what they do? So that's one question. And how do you go about DNA activation with your work?
Yes, I mean, the DNA. It's again, it's a perspective first and foremost. It's your belief system. Um, Definitely, we as humans have so much potential that is beyond. It's just limitless. Um, of course, most of us, we work with, they say 1% of your true potential, 1 or 2% of your true potential. Some souls, um, they, their veils are lifted. They could be like star seeds or indigo kids. That they have the DNA is activated already. They use maybe 4 to 5 or 6% of their true potential. You know, so they're able to tap into so much um, conscious, unconscious, everything. As far as your question, yes, it's many different things that actually leads you to you activation and open you to the source. First of all, it's your intention. When people come with the intention of DNA activation, they've already they've already put it out in the universe. They've already worked out with their higher self and the source that they are ready to come into their blueprint. They're able to tap into the other lifetime. So the thing that they call the junk, basically, it's 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 your memories of other lifetimes or the work that you've done, and you know when we come into that higher divine self, and when um, our double helix is activated, and our God codons are activated, we are able to tap into, um, the other realms that you were in past lives, what you did, and everything kind of just, comes through. And this is true. I mean, many times I don't know. I hardly, I won't even read those things, but I have the knowing. Um, I'm able to see things. I'm able to analyze. I have people coming with so many diseases, and it's like a maze. I can just go in and find out the source. So, people, um, they come with, surgeries that they have scheduled. And when I work with them, they don't have to do any more surgery. So how does this happen? I guess our ability to, um, bring healing from maybe other dimensions, our ability to go into other lifetimes. Maybe we worked as healers. We worked as um, in angelic realms, maybe. But definitely there is this potential. We as human beings, after we have been activated or the DNA gets activated, um, we know with what we do is you actually flow 10 times the potential of yourself. I mean, your manifestation power, it just amplifies, whether it's negative or positive. Your work, your love for people, everything gets amplified. So, of course, it's as healers, we are able to connect with the source and bring that shift for the person who desires that, as well as um, they have to, bring up their vibration through food, through their lifestyles. It's so important. Um, so, as you were saying, yeah, whether we take pills or through healers, we can get this done. Yeah, I mean, it's everybody's belief system, but it takes, um, you know, many different directions in life in order to be where you wish to be, you know. So that the DNA activations kind of help you connect with the source and your higher potentials.
Okay, so activating the DNA does help get to the source. Okay, that's a very, very important factor. So Reiki, I've covered Reiki so many times on this show, it's ridiculous. Preaching to the choir, a lot of people will be concerned, but hey, it's in your resume. I might as well give you the chance to talk about it. The thing about Reiki that I'm most interested in knowing is to what extent can it be learned by oneself, and is it something that I mean it? That, can you learn it
Requires
simply
us.
but by believing that you have the ability to do it? I mean, the first key step is belief in the ability you have to do it. Believe in yourself, the old cliche, but that's not that easy. Many assert you kind of have to practice it to be perfect, because practice makes perfect, as another cliche goes. So when it comes to Reiki, how do you know how much practice and work ethic you need to put in before you have the ability to be a true Reiki healer? What makes some Reiki healers better than others? And there's different types of Reiki, I guess. Can you give the specific type that you specialize in and the science behind how it works?
Okay, so Reiki is it's a life force. Um, in China, it's called Qi. In Japan, Ki. In India, it's called Prana. And here we call Holy Spirit. So there is no um, set thing or learning about, like there is a protocol that this has to be done this way. No, we are born with the ability to heal ourselves. I mean, you must have seen several times when a child gets hurt, and you just touch on the boo boo, and somehow the child feels comfortable and feels better. So it is in us. The Reiki is nothing but the life force that we breathe with, that we think with, that we work with. Um, and it's freely available. It is omnipresent. Um, and even Jesus, he heals through just touching his hands. And I think we all have the ability. The ability becomes more prominent to those who put the intention to heal others. Um, as Reiki masters, um, this healing has been ancient. I mean, in Atlantis, in the Vedic ancient, in India, Vedic before the Christ, this healing was always there. But the Japanese scholar Usui, he's the one who revives this. Um, and once he got it out, you know, um, into our planet again, um, he didn't put any kind of a religious stigma to it. He just said this is part of our spirituality. It is a life force that helps healing our mind, body, and spirit. So, um, the whole process of initiating the healers, students into the Reiki level 1, level 2, and the master level, which means that um, Dr. Usui, when he channeled this whole healing again, he came up with certain initiations and way of channeling this healing. And now it's being passed down from generation to generation. Um, so it's basically a teacher gives the student, it opens the keys um, of the attunement that's been given is opens the key for us to channel this life force from the source of our client for the highest good. So when we able to tap into this energy, we bring in this healing. And when some people touch the body, or some people do from far, but this energy goes into the part of the body that really needs healing, and it uplifts the person because again, this is a very high vibration of love, unconditional love and life force that we are able to channel. And I've seen like people just feel so different after a session. Um, so that's what it is. And some people make it very, very commercial. Some people, work with that consciousness and being truth, to themselves and others. So yeah, it can be defined in many ways by different healers and people. But truly, it's a beautiful healing that we all have within us, you know.
No question we do. And you also cover, last thing on the paragraph resume here, multidimensional ascension healing with archangels. I do healing with archangels myself. Probably going to do that 28-day thing with that Kerry Samuels offers, where Archangel Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel, 7 days with each angel, 28 days total. Whenever I have like a month that, according to my horoscope or numerology reading, is going to be challenging, it says my secret weapon for that has always been to use Kerry Samuels' 28 days with the archangels to try to counter the negative challenges that may come about as a result of the month, numerology or astrology. And whenever I'm not doing that, I just have three like 2-minute healings with Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, the archangels. So I'm very familiar with their work and what they do. And interestingly, when I had Daniel Teague do a healing, or I should say a clearing, more specifically on a place that I'm going to be visiting more often in the future for metaphysical work. Um, the lady who runs the place, she actually said that as a result of him doing the clearing and on the place of clearing the negative energies and eliminating the portal and the spirits that were affecting it in bad ways, she was actually able to perceive the archangels and other entities around me and everybody else in the meditation session. The first session after that, I had him do the clearing more easily. She told me, around you, Andrew, Archangel Michael is going nuts. I guess that's a good sign. I mean, he is in a sense my namesake angel, considering Michael is my middle name. But to see that he's going crazy with me and doing really all powerful around me, I've probably done more healings with him more than any other angels, so it would make sense. Although, well, that's another question I should ask. Someone who keeps repeatedly doing healings with over and over and over again, with like take these 3 2-minute healing sessions that I have with Gabriel, Raphael, and Michael each that is offered. It wasn't Carrie Samuels. I think it was Elizabeth Harper who made those. If I were to do the one with Archangel Michael more than the other ones, which I actually have because that was the first one I ever downloaded, would it stand to reason that Archangel Michael would have a much, much more bigger influence on me because I've asked him to come to me more than the other archangels, or is that not how it works? Is there a completely different reason, perhaps, why Archangel Michael would be all over me to a greater extent than the other archangels are?
Okay, so in our spiritual realm, in our world, we do see that we have guides. They could be, our ancestors. They could be from the angelic realms, ascended masters. But what I see around you also some Palladians. So it's just not Archangel Michael. Definitely there are lots of guides around you. And we can talk that offline later. But yes, he's one of your guides, and it's no coincidence. It just when they're supposed to come in, they'll come into our consciousness and the awareness. And it's amazing how we heal. When I started, coming in alignment and becoming more aware of the other realms and channeling and becoming a medium, I'm driving and they'll talk to me and they'll say there's a church coming, and truly I look and I see a church and I start crying. I'm like, there's so many things that the our guides tell us, and when they talk to you so that you believe them, and that's how it actually happens when we are all coming in alignment and connecting with our guides and are coming into our higher divine self. Um, it's true that they'll different uh, incidents and different things will just come up because they are your guides. They will show you the path. They'll bring you healing. They'll bring you information. Yeah, people come and ask me who my guides are and all, but sometimes I'm just working and I feel like I've been drawn towards working with them with Archangel Metatron or Archangel Raphael, you know, um, different ascended masters. It just, I don't even have to say, I don't even know what I say. It just comes out of my mouth, you know, and I do whatever. I'm just being the conduit. So with all the stargates opening up and galactic centers, I mean, it's amazing what's happening on this planet. It's just we most of the people have come here to up the vibration of this planet, and this is spectacular time. It's amazing what's going on here. Um, uh, you know, so you can feel that. You know how much you bring in consciousness, and your connection to your guides and, you know, other people around you. Don't you feel that?
Indeed, I do, and I can certainly that Pleiades thing you said about me makes sense. Michelle Walling, when she did a reading of sorts on me, said that the Pleiadian seems to be the dominant star system regarding my ancestry and whatnot. So that would make sense. Um, Now, when it comes to understanding the makeup of the archangels and also other angels and guides, I've listened to a lot of Cryon's talks because he's one of the best sources out there for getting info from a higher consciousness perspective. And he's said a few times that our perception of archangels should not be thought of as giant entities of with wings and light
No,
and
he's
no
right.
because
He's yeah,
that's only the way we can perceive them.
exactly,
These entities are of a higher dimension of consciousness. You can't actually
exactly,
perceive them. They
exactly.
don't really look like that. That's just the only way to make so you're saying that's correct. And also another thing that needs to be addressed, and I don't know the extent about this with being with archangels and angels, um, but with spirit guides, Cryon made it clear it's not what you think, folks. It's not random entities from random gene pools all over the place guiding you when they feel necessary. No, the spirit guides are you. Well, what's that mean? Well, he explained what it
Well,
means
it's.
when you well,
Hmm.
just I'll give you, sorry, I know I babble a lot, filibuster,
Go
but
ahead.
hey, I think it's
Yeah.
important to get this out. He says that when you incarnate on this earth, your soul incarnates and it breaks up. Your spirit guides are parts of the fragmented soul. Part of that part becomes, well, the human that you are now, but other parts become the spirit guides, and that's what he means when they say the spirit guides are you. It's more complicated than that, but that's what he asserts, and he says that's the way you should look at it. So, what did you want to say about it?
Well, he he is right to quite an extent, according to what I see. Um, it's your oversoul. So every soul, we take many life forms according to the Vedas and Puranas. Imagine there is a thread with different pearls, and every as it's going up and up, it's becoming puller and puller. That means you're becoming closer to the source and one with the source. So that's true that your higher divine self, it's always there. It's always there. The voice that comes in your heart and mind, it stops you. The first voice, that's your higher self. Then once you connect with that higher self, you have you feel more um, clarity about life and purpose and everything, and you feel like, you've been guided. You work. So those are your oversouls. Those are part of your own. That's the most purest form of you as a soul. So we take many life forms to learn, grow, and come into that divine self to merge back with the Creator. And he's right in many ways. But what I've in my practice felt, there are spirits of people you love, um, people who passed on. They can they give messages. They show. I mean, I'm just, many times I'm a medium and, working, and I feel like, oh, my back is killing me. What happened to your husband? What happened? Oh, why is my back killing? She said, and she looked in amazement. She said, Poonam, my husband fell off the ladder, and that's how he died, and his back was really gone. So there is truth to our connection as souls to people we live, and they're part of our journey, our expansion, our growth, and when they're in spirit world, it's different. But definitely I feel presence of guides in many different forms. Hmm.
Yeah, and I seem to feel the presence of them myself. And moving on to the next thing here on the resume here. I haven't actually used your website much for guides. I guess I don't really have to because everything has about you has been put in here in this little bio on the Empowered Light site. It says you're the founder of a program called Soul Path to Nirvana, which assists light workers and healers in their spiritual journey and goals, so they hold the light for thousands that come in their paths. Interesting, I see this. There was a guy who, at the conference I was recently at, when I was hanging out, smoking my tobacco pipe with some other people who were also smoking cigarettes. They get
Hmm.
addicted to tobacco because they smoke and inhale into their lungs. I don't. That's how you get addicted to tobacco. But there was this one guy who wasn't smoking, who was had a very noticeable Nirvana shirt that he was wearing. Now there's the band Nirvana. That's people may remember from back in the day. I didn't really listen to them. I don't know if they're still around, but the do they have anything to do with the Nirvana in the ancient Vedic sense of the term? Well, I'd like you to actually explain what that is and why you use the phrase soul path to Nirvana in regards to this program. Why is it called that, and how does it assist light workers and healers?
Okay, so um, most of the questions that I ask is why you want to be a healer. People come and say, "I want to be a healer." I said, "That's great that you want to be a healer, but there are a lot of issues that you have to work towards your own self. That means first we need to heal ourselves. Well, first we need to come into that divine blueprint. First we have to actually experience all the feelings of happiness, of content, of forgiveness, of kindness, of patience, before we actually come into that state to share that bliss with other people, to heal those other people. So, Nirvana is a state of mind, body, and spirit where you have no fear of being immortal. I'm sorry, mortal, immortal, whatever. Um, that means no fear of dying. Um, so when we come into that state, that means we have our connection to the source, and that should be our purpose on this planet. You know, why are we why are we sad? Why we feel disconnected? People say I'm lost. I don't know. I have everything in my life, but I don't feel happy anymore. I said that is actually your disconnect from the creator. You know, truly we break off from the creator as a soul on our own journey to learn, grow, and experience what emotions are, what this planet is all about, who we are. And it's only when you go back and merge back into the creator is when you feel you don't have all that I need so much money, I need so much thing to survive. This whole concept of just slogging every day to just survive, and in all that different state of mind of anger, grudges, all that. So once you realize that our true purpose on this planet is not to just seek, the Maya. It's called the Maya Jal or the illusion, the matrix. As soon as we realize that what we are actually feeding into is the matrix, and if I'm able to come out of that matrix or the Maya Jal, as they say in Sanskrit, you feel like a bird and you can see everything. What looked so immense to you will look so small because now your perspective has changed. You're not in that matrix anymore of the illusion that this is mine, this is my degree, this is my wealth, this is my child, this is my daughter. You serve, um, you understand yourself, you come into that consciousness and you merge, you are in your highest form, and there's no fear then. So that actually holds true.
Thank you very much. Now, it says here your journey began inspiring and empowering women. Well, okay, out of curiosity, can the things that you did to inspire and empower women, would they work the same for men, or are we talking a completely different sense of energy here?
Um, the divine feminine, yes. You know, I do feel it's not that the male don't go through the abuse. It does hold true for both sides. But at one point of time, the women in their lives, when they take a backseat, especially the women who take backseat to raise kids, and they let go, a lot in their lives, I feel sometimes they need that support. And when they use, the body is being used, people think, and they think it is okay to be in that profession to feed their kids. So with that being, I've seen, you know, the third world countries, and I've seen America. I mean, I've realized how much, people are, women are not conscious about their own themselves, So the awareness is very important, and that's why I started this factory in India. Now, um, I'm launching my line for medical apparel. It's called Soul Fit Medical Apparel, for women who are going through breast cancer, kids who go through chemotherapy. So we are also, working to help the villagers. So it's not just, women, but primarily my goal is to help uplift the women. But in process, men are there, and we have some dyers and things like that. They also work with us. Some pattern guys who come and teach and things like that. So they're not ruled, and the issues can be the same as the women. And it yeah, you're right. We have to support the both side, the male and female aspects of life, and empowerment is important, definitely.
Yes, and I think it goes without saying that it should become, it should, I hope it does. I can't see why it wouldn't be easier for women to not struggle so much here on Earth, considering that, well, first of all, the moon has for many years been the ball and chain around the divine feminine, and Brad Johnson, who channels Adronis, he recently uploaded a video in which he said that the moon is, for all intents and purposes, no longer under the control of malevolent Orion Gray factions who are subordinate to the system of domination and control on Earth.
Mhm.
So, if that is the case, then you would have to think that the awakening of the divine feminine is going to happen at an exponential rate here on the Earth, which I guess is was certainly a blessing. But that raises the question: would that tie in any way with the divine masculine? Because you don't want one to be more dominant than the other. You want to find a balance between the two, and could it be so that this could be, well, with the moon being out of the control of the bad guys now, and not being so powerful to ball and chain around the divine feminine, is that actually going to be a problem, because it's going to be a shock to the system, because the divine feminine and the divine masculine too may not be able to handle such a big shock of such a good thing, that it may turn out to be a little bumpy for a little while, if you get my drift. So
Mhm.
is there anything you can say about the potential of this affecting us?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you one thing, that we are in the golden age right now, and in this age, we as the earth, Gaia, is coming into the fifth dimensional energy. We, as humans, we are uplifting and coming in very high vibration. It's like, it'll be like raising rising of Atlantis. So believe me or no, this is a cycle of 28,000 years. the way we have seasons and climate, you go through the circle, season every year. Exactly like that, we went through dark ages, death and destruction, the revolutions that we have over time, control, um, you know. So now we're coming into this age of golden age where we are waking up to our divine self. There'll be more peace. I don't believe there will be, um, clashes against divine feminine or divine, masculine energy. I feel like we'll work together. Um, you know, the divine feminine is again nurturing, loving, growth, positivity. A mother. Think of a mother. So with the Gaia increasing in vibration, she's bringing up the feminine energy, and we all are. I think we are going to see Shambhala, which is paradise on our planet. They say, oh, it's end of world coming, blah blah. Of course, 2012 was the end of, the other era and beginning of um, the golden age. Um, so I just feel we'll be working more hand in hand than the masculine taking, being suppressed or anything like that. The opportunities are going to be more equal. I think there'll be more love and respect for the feminine, um, and we'll be able to see the masculine energy more with, their love and understanding and support. Because in order to, raise our kids, the different generations that are going to come up on this planet, we need that integration and love and respect for each other. Definitely. That's my feeling. I don't know what others think, but this is what the guides and the creator shows me. What do you think?
I think the same you do, and I think that there's a lot more awakening to go towards. And with that being said, got about 10 minutes, 11 minutes left on the program. Want to give you the chance to make a sales pitch out of some of the things you offer. Now, the Circle of Life Soul Center, it's in Malvern, Pennsylvania, which, well, I've traveled far and wide to many events. I was in India for the International Yoga Festival this past March on the 30th anniversary of the event. So if I'm willing to go travel
Wow.
that far, maybe I don't see any reason why at some point or another I can't make it to one of your things.
Oh
Um,
my God, it would be wonderful if you can come and
yeah,
we'll talk. We'll
yeah.
talk more on
Although
Palladians.
it is a little bit of a drive. I live in
I know.
northeast Montgomery County, just west of northeast Philly. Um, and it wouldn't make sense for me to go to your place for just like a $15 class or something. Driving all the way down there, it would make more sense for me to come to one of the retreats, such as the Pancha Karma retreat, which $575. Maybe you can get into what that would entail, and maybe also make a sales pitch about some of the other things that you do. And I mean, if there's any other products like essential oils, because there's also essential oils here, soul healing chakra oils, goddess apparel collection, and things like that. If there's any things here that you really want to get out, and because you think it's worthwhile for people to spend their money on it, now's your chance to make a sales pitch out of it. Um, what are these things that you think are the most worthwhile to get? And if anybody wants to come to any of your retreats, such as Panchakarma, let us know the time, place, and all the details on how that works.
Definitely. Yeah, so Panchakarma is part of our detox reset retreat that we have here at our center, where we work with many different modalities. The Shirodhara, which is pouring of oil that clears your mind. People have migraines and all that. It's just amazing how it works. These ancient modalities. Um, we have different reflexology, and that weekend, like it's coming up on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The food is provided, which is mono food, um, different kinds of juices and different herbal teas to detox. It's like unclogging, a drain, so your kidneys and from, spiritually, mentally, and physically, we work with all different aspects, and there are so many different modalities. You have different massages, abhangas. Um, we have different meditations, um, yoga techniques to kind of clear our mind, and so this whole retreat, and being with the like-minded people, that helps to understand more about yourself and let go of the patterns that don't serve you. So whether it's food, whether you have some diseases, and what I do is I do an Ayurvedic consultation for them, which is included in this, and then create a chart for them, according to the dosha, what's imbalanced, how do we fix so that you prevent diseases from happening in future. Um, so, we do outdoor things. So it's really a beautiful retreat where you feel like you rejuvenate and see things and your body from a different perspective. So that's coming up. People have missed on signing up this month, and we have another one coming in October. I think 23rd, 24th, or something like that. So they can look up on the website and sign up, or they can call us. I have people coming in with many different diseases, and actually, they are able to get off chemicals. I mean, people from, anxiety pills. I have people with severe chronic illnesses that now they are shifting. We are able to see the foods that trigger these issues. So when I work with them, first I work at the spiritual level. Everything that happens in life is a reflection. Something happened at the spiritual level. So once I tap into the spiritual level, then we come into the emotional level. We work in many other different modalities to bring the person back into the right state of mind and emotions, and then I come into the physical. And believe me, helping change their diet or their lifestyle, or different herbs that I make lots of different teas here. People can come buy different teas and things like that. I also we have our in-house CBD oils that we work off. People have actually got off a lot of anxiety medications and other inflammation, big time inflammation. So they can come and buy. I'm not sure whether we've really put it on the website, but we'll soon be having more CBD oils on our website. Different MGs depending on what their needs are. Other modalities that really work here is the reflexology that I work. Reflexology is amazing how our hands and feet have the maps of our organs, and we have electromagnetic fields, bioelectric magnetic field, how we stimulating those parts of our hands and feet, and through our backbone and through the head, different points in our body and the meridians, we are able to give signals to our organs to reset to its optimum health and well-being and their homeostasis. So a lot of issues in their body can get fixed by this ancient, which is Egyptian modality. And I have many people come for this sessions here, and we also have different passes for our private clients. So, and we have a lot of teaching option. People who wants to be a healer, once they feel good about and they believe in my work, I really want to pass down this gift that I've received from the divine, and I really want to see this world a beautiful place. And every day, if I can pass down this gift to people and Like we need many, many people to help this planet, definitely. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to get out to so many other people who may be inspired and want to help others and want to believe in their abilities.
You're very welcome. And by the way, I just took a quick look at the calendar on the circleoflifesoulcenter.com website. In October, there isn't anything here about that retreat. It just has the yin yang things on Monday and the meditation
Mm-hmm.
things on Thursday. You may want to upload that, update that.
Okay.
But
Well,
the
yeah, we'll be
retreat
uploading.
the retreat does happen at the Holistic Wellness Center on 391 Lancaster Avenue in Malvern, right?
Yes, yes, we
Okay,
do
and
have.
people
Yes.
would, if they, is it like, how many days is it? How many, of course, how
It's
many?
it starts from 4 o'clock on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. It's 4 days.
It's a 4 day
So
thing.
all the food and everything is provided here, and I think by 8 o'clock we are done every day. We meet up around 9 in the morning, and whole day we spend, and everybody gets different modalities and detox and different therapies that they go through.
Okay,
And
thank
then
you.
every Thursday we have meditation here, and Mondays we have qigong and yoga. So most welcome to join us.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely put on my of places to consider going to for retreats and such in the future. Um, I was told I should spend a little less time traveling far off and wide and try to stay at the local level for certain things, especially when it comes to healings and things. Although as far as conferences go, it seems like a lot of people were wondering, you came all the way from Philly to come to this conference in the Shasta area of California, even just because you want a free ticket, you decided to come. And I told them, well, the truth is the West Coast seems to have the best conferences relative to the East Coast. But as far as retreats and such go, I don't think there's really any place that's better than the other. It's only as far as conferences go that the West Coast seems to be dominant for whatever the reason may be. So, but I'll definitely keep you in my mind as far as places to go. And if you're going to the Empowered Life Holistic Expos in the future, I unfortunately am not going to be able to go to any of those. I kind of made a promise as to why I would not be able to go to any of those. It's not pretty, but maybe I'll send you a message in the email where you can check out, or maybe you already heard about what happened to me. I don't know, but it's not
No,
very
I'm not
pleasant.
aware of.
Okay, well, I'll let you know, and no need to make a big stink about. Well, funny I say that. I'm actually thinking about showing up with a placard and a bullhorn at the September Expo to show what they did to me was not cool, but that's another story. Anyhow, it's great. It was great having you on. I will upload this to YouTube by midnight tomorrow at the absolute latest. I do, of course, have two separate audios because our interview, because apparently Mercury retrograde got cut off. So I'll make sure I put them together, and I will post the. I guess I'll send you the link through email, and you can promote this if you want to try to get more views out there for me and yourself and
Definitely.
increase your services. So it was a pleasure talking to you and
I
Poonam,
was.
and very informative. And I wish you the best of luck on everything you do in the future. Take care.
Oh, I'm so happy, and I really appreciate you taking time and knowing more about my business and my work that I do. And good luck. And you're most welcome to come here, and definitely I would love to give you a session on something that you may be interested.
May have to wait till 2020 though. I'm kind of busy in October, but yeah, how many times a year do you do that thing that the P word that
Panchakarma,
yeah
the
Panchaka
Panchakarma.
yeah.
Yeah, it's usually like 3 to 4 times a year, depending, the seasons and things like that.
Do you do it
But
during
yeah,
cold weather or during warm weather only?
no, it's all weathers. It's
Really? Okay.
yeah.
All right. So
So the
maybe
food
a
and
winter
everything
retreat for
should.
once will be different. I don't know. Is do you have to
Yeah,
can you sleep on the site or do you have to get a hotel room to stay at? If how does that
no,
work?
I mean, we do have some healing rooms, but usually it's better to have like a outside.
Would you?
Yeah.
Can we sleep in the car? In our own car if we park on the property?
Don't
Is that
worry, we'll make arrangement. Don't
all right?
worry.
All right, good. Okay. I think I'll call it a show now. This is for my questions, not anybody else's, or if anybody else wants to go, maybe it was good that I asked. So take care. Namaste. Enjoy the terrestrial effect of
Namaste
infinite
so much.
consciousness.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.